Good morning, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. After a long period since the end of the 2021-22 Vodacom URC season. This morning, we have our CEO, Mr. Edgar Rathbone, and our Director of Rugby, Mr. Jake White, ahead of our opening game against the Emirates Lions. We'll kick off with a short address from our CEO, Mr. Edgar Rathbone, and then we'll open the floor for questions thereafter. Edgar, over to you.
Yeah, morning everybody, and thanks for taking the time to be here. It's obviously with great excitement that we sit here this morning, and I've got a quite exciting announcement that Mr. Jake White has decided to extend his contract with the Bulls up until June 2027. Which is he's currently signed till 24, so it's another 3-year extension. We are absolutely ecstatic about that. The work that Jake has done over the past 2 years has been unbelievable, and I really believe that together with the board and the union and Jake and myself working together, we are building something really special here. And with players committing their long-term future to the Bulls as well, we believe this is the right step. In rugby, you need to control the controllables, and that's what we're trying to do by giving the stability on the coaching front as well as a playing squad. So open to any questions. Thank you.
We'll take hands. Ashfaq?
Hi, good morning, Edgar and Jake. Edgar, just in terms of Jake started like a house on fire, all the trophies there of Loftus, and nearly pulled off the URC title as well, just falling short at the end. Yeah. What do you hope to achieve going forward over the next few years with Jake?
Yeah, Ashfaq, I mean, I've said it plenty of times. I think we would be lying if we said we entered competitions not to win it. So every competition the Vodacom Bulls enter, we want to win. We understand that there's a building process in place, but yeah, we believe that our squad, if we can keep them together for the next few years, we can build on those trophies that we've won over the past few years, and hopefully build on the success and the team atmosphere that's been built. We believe will just be better and better as we go along.
Simon?
Thanks, Chimani. Jake, I don't know if I should say congratulations or sterkte. I suppose it's both. But welcome in the cauldron again. Welcome back. Specifically concentrating on youth development. I know that that is a passion with you and with the union itself, and we all know how the system works, and the president also keeps on reminding us of how effective the youth development systems and the club rugby is. Is there any change that you envisage for that? If you look back in your, as Ashfaq said, house on fire stint that you had, is there things that you will like to change? And how can we look forward to what you're planning there? And then just one naughty question. You're not going to go over to control the uncontrollables at the Springboks.
Yeah, so Simon, let me first off start the thing. I think when you look at the squad and you look at guys like Kanan and Jan-Hendrik Wessels and even Grobbies who's young and Morne Smith who's young, I mean, Ruan Nokia himself in the Tide 5 is a young guy. So, I mean, nothing's going to change. I think one of the things the Bulls have done really well is understand that we've got an incredible domestic league in the Carlton League. We've got an incredible junior system where we win more than we lose. And, nothing's changing. Under 21 sides, top of the log again. So, what we're going to do is we're going to continue that process. I think one of the things Edgar speaks about is, the board are very happy to extend my contract. So that firstly, as a coach, it's wonderful to have the backing of your board. When people want you to come somewhere, Simon, it's fantastic. It means the board are actually, I saw the chairman of our board at the airport the other day, and he was, unbelievably happy to know that I wanted to stay at the Bulls. And that in itself is, I suppose, like a player feels when a coach says, listen, I want you to stay on because I want you to be part of this. So that's the first bit. I mean, Willem, you mentioned Willem, and he's massively passionate about rugby in the Bulls area. And I just feel it's an alignment that suits me. I'm big on traditions. I'm big on old school values. I'm big on creating a bit of a legacy. I know I've moved around, but I think I'm old enough now to know what works and what doesn't work. And Simon, it works here. I've got a CEO, I've got a president, I've got a board, I've got a group of players, the guys like Goosen staying till 26, Ulrich Lowe staying till 27. I'm sure there's other signings that will come out later, but if that caliber of player wants to stay, then there's no reason why you don't want to be part of that. I just see the Bulls getting stronger and stronger. And I know Ashfaq spoke about we started well. Well, I suppose we started well, and that surprised everybody. I suppose the expectation now is we got to continue to grow. And I'm just very happy that the board and that Edgar feel that I'm part of that growth process, because having coached around, I know when you get the right mix, and I feel we've got the right mix in everything, in the board, in the leadership, in the way the players play, in the way the players come into our organization. 2 years here over COVID, I've realized, not realized unknowingly, but realized again how big the Bulls brand is. Limpopo, Groblersdal, Rustenburg, anywhere in South Africa, people are fanatical about the Bulls. And I'm obviously very honored that I can stay long-term in an organization like this, because I just believe that it's going to get stronger and stronger.
We'll go to Ken and then Kobus and then Ashfaq.
Thanks, Kamani. Morning, Edgar. Morning, Jake.
Okay.
Jake, I basically just wanted to touch on what you have covered a bit, but I guess if you could give us a bit more of your thinking that people have criticized you in the past for jumping around teams. You're now going to be at Loftus Versalt for another 5 years. From now. I mean, that's really putting down roots, isn't it?
Correct. Well, Ken, I think, to be fair, and you're right, criticize, but I've always thought I would try and find, I suppose, having coached internationally at a very young age, having experienced the highs of winning a World Cup, maybe I probably chased things, and probably, in hindsight, it's easy. Just maybe I moved and I was looking for that sort of dream job. And maybe that's why I've committed to stay here, because, 5 more years in Pretoria, 5 more years with this group of players, 5 more years with this organization as they are now, with a group of people above me that have the same vision and the same sort of feeling of continuity. And as Edgar says, it's working, and I'm enjoying it. So, it is, I suppose, fair criticism to say I moved, but I suppose what I moved for is to get into a situation where I am now. All those learnings I've had, Ken, have taught me well. Have taught me well about what you can and can't get. And when you get what you've got here, a great bunch of players, leadership ahead of you that's visionary, leadership that wants to win. I mean, you heard my CEO say now we enter comms to win. There's a wonderful thing. Imagine being in an organization where your leadership didn't really matter if winning was important or not important. So. Yeah, it's just a perfect fit for me, Ken. So at this point in my life, having known what I've known, what I've learned, and having this group of people around me, it's a perfect fit.
I see Kobus has lowered his hand, so we'll go to Ashfaq.
Jake, you spoke now about what you've learned over the years, but is there no desire or deep down still to get back into Test rugby at all? As you said, you were still quite young as a Springbok coach, actually in your 40s or early 40s. Any ambition down?
I can never say never. I mean, the reality is, I thought I was going to coach international rugby after the World Cup in 2007. I don't know how many years have gone by now, 15 years or so have gone by now. Next year is another World Cup. So I think it's 3 or 4 World Cups have gone by since I coached international rugby. I can't never say to never, but what you can control, and I heard what Edgar says, you can control the controllables. And I'm very fortunate these guys back me. I'm very fortunate as I said, one of the greatest sort of accolades is your board say to you, please, we want you to stay. It's a wonderful place to be. And I'm going to obviously repeat myself, but the squad I've got, if we get these guys to commit, and I think part of that plan is if I show them that I'm part of it, maybe that will be a catalyst for those players to say, look, I want to be part of it as well. And if that's the case, then I'm sure things will work well in the Bulls.
Percy?
Thank you so much, Kamani. Good day, CEO. Good day, Mr. White. Kan ek net vinnig met jou begin net Afrikaans vinnig net in Afrikaans verduidelik waarom julle as die raad, as julle besluitnemers besluit het om vir meneer Jake White aan te stel vir 'n verdere 5 jaar. Wat maak hom so 'n wenresep daarby daai Unie? Ek voor vir Jake White 'n vraag kan net 'n tweede deel van my vraag vir jou vra egter is dat en ek is altyd senuweeagtig om hierdie vraag te vra. Ek gaan baie versigtig vra. Is vroue rugby deel van Jake White se mandaat of gaan jy my nou weer verwys na Willem Strauss toe? Hoe belangrik is vroue rugby onder Jake White se mandaat? Jake, kan ek dan vir jou vra Jake, het in Engels verduidelik hoe passievol jy is Pretoria, is Loftus nou jou nuwe tuiste en glo jy en die groep spelers wat jy genoem het kan hoër hoogtes bereik met die volgende pad vorentoe? Dankie.
Okay, Percy, ek begin eers met hoekom ons sien dat Jake fit is. Ek meen soos Jack nou gesê het en soos ek gesê het, ek dink vir elke Vodacom Bulls ondersteuner is wen ongelooflik belangrik. En tradisionele waardes is belangrik en hoe mens kyk na jou ondersteuners en hoe mens kyk na jou tuisveld en hoe belangrik jou tuisveld vir jou is. En dis alles waardes wat binne Jake sit. Jy weet, Jake is 'n ou wat al baie meer in sy lewe gewen as verloor het. En hy het 'n manier om met jong spelers sowel as ou spelers te werk, jy weet. En daai twee pole bymekaar te bring en in 'n ongelooflike stelsel bymekaar te sit. So jy weet ons soos hy genoem het, jy weet daar's spelers soos Elrich Lou en Jan Goosen en Zak Burger en Morne Smith en Kane en Moody wat geteken het by die Bulls tot by 2026, 2027. En dis belangrik vir ons om die commitment wat ons aan hulle gemaak het dat hier 'n stabiele omgewing gaan wees en 'n hoë prestasie omgewing gaan wees. Dat ons daai beloftes nakom en 'n belangrike deel daarvan is om Jake as direkteur van rugby te hou. Jou tweede vraag rondom vroue rugby, soos jy sou gesien het ons vir Tannie Manana ingebring binne die maatskappy en dit is belangrik dat ek sê die maatskappy want ons is in die proses om die vrouespan na die professionele kant toe te skuif. Wat beteken dat hulle onder die maatskappy sal val. En ja, in die groter prentjie val dit onder die direkteur van rugby, jy weet, en ons wil regtig 'n hoë prestasie omgewing skep vir die vrouens wat vergelyk met wat die manspan het, jy weet, en die toonaangewende span word op vroue rugby vlak ook. En weer eens, ek dink ek herhaal myself, maar wen bly belangrik, jy weet, en die vroue span het nog nooit hulle toernooi gewen nie en is tyd dat dit reggestel word.
Ja, so kom ek stel dit gaan onder my val en ek dink wat belangrik is vroue rugby gaan groter en groter word in Suid-Afrika possibel en as die bulle jy weet voor is met almal of voor al die alle provinsies is met hulle vroue span en hoe ons dit gaan doen dan moet dit so wees. Ek dink weer eens is die denke van die board en denke van die CEO. Jy weet ons wil leiers wees in alle rugby. So ja, so ek gaan jy weet ek sal help waar ek kan en ek sal seker maak ons kry 'n hoë prestasie span in die vroue. Vandag byvoorbeeld ons CEO en ons president was by 'n ontbyt gewees waar 5 van ons spelers nou gekies is vir die Springbok span. Jy weet ons met daai getalle bietjie meer maak. Jy weet ons net soos die Springbok senior span. Hierso, jy weet ons het hierdie jaar ek dink 5 Springbokke vir die Springbokke gegee en gemaak vir hulle. So my doelwit is vrouens en mans om seker te maak ons kry Springbokke in die nasionale groep. Ten wyse van jou ander vraag is Loftus is nou my huis. Jy weet Loftus is is ongelooflike unie possible. Soos ek net nou vir jou gesê het, jy kan enige plek in Suid-Afrika toe gaan, enige plek in die wêreld gaan sê jy Bulls, dan weet almal die Bulls is mos 'n groot sterk unie, ongelooflike tradisies, ongelooflike geskiedenis van wen. Ja, en ek wil deel wees van dit. Jy weet soos ek net nou gesê het in Engels, jy weet ek het so keuses gemaak in my lewe en ek dink hierdie keuse is 'n perfekte fit vir my. Dis jy weet ek wil deel wees van 'n groep wat wenners is. Ons juniors wen, jy weet baie meer as hulle verloor ook en as ons daai tipe seun in die stelsel kan kry, jy weet ongelooflike skole hierso, ongelooflike ondersteuners wat ons ondersteun. En ek praat baie met pelle van my en hulle sê Jake, jy moet dit baie geniet daar in Pretoria because dis 'n rugby plek, jy weet. Hierdie hele unie is 'n rugby plek. En jy weet ken dit net nou van my vra, ek was by Montpellier gewees, ek was in Japan gewees, ek was in Brumbies gewees en jy weet nie dat nie dat ek het nie geniet nie, maar ek is nou in 'n hoofkantoor van rugby. Jy weet, hierdie is 'n hoofkantoor van rugby. Almal hierso praat rugby. Ek dink Willemstraat sê aanhoudend vir my 47 rugby velde in Linwoodstraat. En dit beteken net hoe lief hulle is vir rugby. So en ek sê dit weer, ek is baie opgewonde oor die volgende paar jare.
And then we'll wrap this part of the presser before we go to the team announcement with the last question from Simon.
Thanks, Jumani. I'm going to ask this in English, Edgar. As far as your planning is concerned, and I know you also come from a union that I'm not going to mention the name, that could probably learn from what has happened here in your union. As far as planning is concerned, I know that is strategically a very important thing for you personally as CEO and for you as board. You do have Jake now.
Simon, we lost you there.
If Jake is not there anymore, could you elaborate a little bit as far as that is concerned? I'm not.
Simon, we lost you there where you said you do have Jake.
Yeah, you do have Jake. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're still breaking up a bit, but you can continue.
You do have Jake there. I'm looking towards an answer as far as planning is concerned. If Jake isn't there anymore, do you have a person that you've already sort of earmarked? And if not, that person is in your system at the moment, do you have?
Simon, we keep losing you. We've lost you once again.
I think he's probably asking about the succession plan.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's really tough to talk about coach to follow up Jake when he's still going to be here for 5 years. But look, I think the reality is we've got unbelievable coaches in the system, assistants to Jake as well as in the junior system. It is important to sort of freshen up every now and then in approaches and how you do things at different levels. So there might still be changes in that in the coming years. But yes, there are high level discussions as to how we see it going forward. When Jake is director of rugby, there's 3 tournaments to be played, with the Currie Cup clashing with EPCR and URC. It's more than likely that another coach will come in to do the Currie Cup. So yes, there's processes in place, but I must say we do have a very talented squad of coaches at the union already.
Thank you so much, ladies and gents. We will now go to the team announcement for the game against the Emirate Lions.
Yes.
Thanks very much, Ed. Really appreciate your time.